Hey everyone! So today we're going to talk about how to take a timeout when your relationship gets a little heated. Hey everyone, I'm Christy Morgan and I'm a relational trauma therapist. I offer videos to equip you to heal your trauma and enjoy deeply connected relationships. Let's talk about the word timeout to start. A lot of people don't like that word because it sounds like punishment. When I say timeout, I mean I'm feeling overwhelmed and we're in a heated argument. We could probably have this conversation a little bit better if we took some time to cool down and come back. So, a timeout is basically where you and your partner agree to take some time away to regulate yourselves, to calm down, consider how you want to come back to the conversation, and then you resume the conversation later. So, why is this important? Well, often when we are in heated conversations, we get into a defensive mode. And when we're in a defensive mode, we tend to not even hear what the other person is saying. So not only is it good for you to be able to calm down and be able to communicate what you actually want to communicate and not what your heated emotions want to communicate, but it's also good in that you are going to actually hear your partner and your partner will actually be able to hear you. So taking a time out is critical for being able to have a good, healthy conflict. So the first step will be to notice that you need a timeout. This is really important and it's hard for a lot of people because when we are in that defensive place and we're trying to get the other person to see our point of view, we tend to become really unaware of all the signs our body is telling us that we don't feel emotionally safe and that we feel overwhelmed. So try to tune into your body. Is your face feeling hot? Are your fists clenched? Are you noticing that your heart is beating really fast? These are all signs that it might be time to take a timeout. The second step is to request the timeout. And this is very important to not only request it, but to say when you plan to come back. It's very different to say, I need a break and walk out the room and then not come back, versus to say, hey, I don't feel like I can hear you right now when I'm feeling overwhelmed. I will come back in an hour and can we talk about it then? So make sure that you tell your partner when you plan to be back so that they don't feel overwhelmed or abandoned in that situation. The third step is to relax and calm down. So do what you have found is helpful for regulating your body. For some people, this is going for a jog. For other people, it's listening to music or doing some deep breathing or meditating. Anything that will just help bring your nervous system back to a grounded state. Once you do that, that's when you can move to step number 4. And step number 4 is to remember what's important. So what were the really important messages that you were trying to get across to your partner? What was it that you were feeling and thinking that you really wanted them to understand? Use this as a time to really get clear with yourself. What am I trying to communicate and what am I experiencing? The other element to this is to really examine yourself. Okay, it takes two to have a conflict. How did I contribute to this conflict? What can I take responsibility for? Taking responsibility is one of the best ways that you and your partner can let your guard down and actually connect. So this will help you get out of defensiveness mode and get into a place where you can have a productive conflict and resolution. So take some responsibility, consider your partner's point of view, and really get clear about what are the important things that you want your partner to understand about your experience. The 5th step, and this is the last step, is to come back together when you have decided that, during the time when you decide you're coming back, and to have a productive conversation. So take responsibility, communicate your feelings and thoughts through I statements, and really listen to your partner. See if you guys can come to a situation where you both feel good about what you've decided. So this is how you take a timeout. A couple of ways that taking a timeout tends to not work out is when one of the couples does not say when they're coming back. So that's a very important element, and it needs to be decided by the person who asks for the timeout. The second way that this can go wrong is if your partner doesn't respect your request for a timeout. So no matter what's happening, if somebody says, I need a timeout, that needs to be respected. And then the third way that this tends to go wrong is when people use their time out and their time away to almost think about all the things they're going to say to defend themselves and all of their arguments against what their partner had shared previously, instead of using it as a time to create space in themselves to hear their partner and to have a productive conversation. So don't use your time away as a time to, think about all the things your partner did wrong and how you are right. That is not going to be a good place to start from when you return to the conversation. So I hope this helps you guys. This is a great way to really manage conflict well in a relationship, and just being able to have differences and not get escalated in the process. So if you like what you saw, please feel free to like, subscribe, comment with any success stories. I'd love to hear from you about how taking a time out has helped you and your partner be able to have productive fights.